we often hear, treat a loss the same way we treat a win. And I think the past week might be a good indication of that. 7 days ago we were talking about you first one to win 14 of 15 games. Connor's the first star of the week. Then you have the magic from the number one line at MSG, and how quickly things can change in the course of a season. After what happened in Florida, the atmosphere changes a little bit, but the attitude can't.
Yeah, I think it's important to zoom out and kind of recognize the start we've had, and then recognize the areas that we need to improve upon to be successful. I think going up against a real good Florida team, I don't want to say they surprised us. We kind of knew the style of play, but they executed their game plan a lot better than we did. So it's nice to get back home, have a good practice day. We haven't had a ton of practice the last few weeks, month. So just kind of work on some reads, work on some things that we think we can do better, and you get another crack at the team that kind of just dominated you. So there's not a whole lot of back-to-backs in the regular season, but against one of the best teams in the league, it's an exciting challenge.
And for those of us who don't play the game and aren't in on the preparation and the video and that sort of thing, often the guys will say, after what happened in Florida, we weren't surprised, by what they did, or even the Tampa Bay game. So does it just simply come down to one team executing better, or how does that all unfold?
Yeah, it's a long season. You're not going to have your best execution every night. I think watching some clips this morning, there was a lot of things we did to ourselves, and if we clean up, we can get through the neutral zone a little better. Some better D zone sorts and things like that. I think there was some uncharacteristic mistakes by our group, and like I said, it's we're not just flushing the game and just accepting the loss. But I think you have to take those lessons and then move on. I think we did some things in practice that we're going to try and use in the game tomorrow. We saw some things in the video that we're going to try and implement, and obviously we all expect to be a little sharper. I think coming out of a good practice day tomorrow morning skate, we expect we'll all be ready to go.
Adam, you mentioned that it was a good practice. I'm just curious, how important is that just after two losses like that? Like, how important could you just talk about that is to maybe come back with that and like a response, if you would, right, from the entire team, whether it's a heightened sense of focus, urgency, whatever you want to call it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think regardless of a win or a loss, I think the practice time's so valuable in this league. With our travel schedule and the heavy schedule we've had in the last month, we haven't had a lot of opportunities to do some line rushes, do some 5-on-5 sorts, and some ozone play and things like that. I think it kind of leads itself into the game. It helps the sharpness, the execution, the things we expect out of everyone in this room, and it's nice to get out there, handle the puck a little more than you do in a game. So we look at the last couple of games and where our level's been and the areas we want to improve upon, and going out and being able to work on it, it gives you a better feeling than kind of just having to sit on it and then morning skate and quick turnaround into a game. So a couple days break between the two games is definitely nice.
I'm also just curious, and I'm not trying to make the two games a bigger deal than it actually is in the grand scheme of things, but how important do you think it is for you guys to maybe not have turn into a 3-game slide, just given the way you guys started? Versus, I'm just thinking if you guys were below 500 team, for example, or something like that, you guys were near the bottom of the league, maybe you guys had already been through a 3-game losing streak, but now it's like you guys have started so well. I'm just wondering how important that is for you guys to not let that turn into a 3-game slide. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't really thought too much about it. I think it's the perspective and how you approach these games. I think we lose 2 in a row. It's more about the process and how we got those results, and versus how we've gotten the results in a lot of the other games. And there's areas of our game we want to continue to work on. There's areas of our game we want to continue to improve on. So I think if you get too focused on the results, you kind of lose the importance of playing the game. You lose kind of you put a little too much pressure on yourself. I think it's one of those ones you kind of have to approach every game kind of in a vacuum, and then take the things you learn from it and put it into the next one. So like I said earlier, Florida's a great team, one of the best teams in the league. So we're going to have to use the things we worked on today, use the things we took from the video, and implement it to give ourselves a chance to win tomorrow.
And nice that you get to do that at home, I imagine, before going back out onto the road.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like we haven't been home a whole lot, so it's great. We love playing in front of the fans in Winnipeg. It's nice to be home for a few days. But yeah, like you said, you want to have a good feeling going into a long road trip, and you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But a lot of really good teams on that road trip coming up, and it's a tough part of the schedule. But so far we've risen to the occasion this year, and we've got a lot of belief in this group. So look forward to coming to the rink tomorrow, having a good morning skate, and then getting out there and competing against the Panthers.